Yeah, this is a very strange story. I can't. It feels like there's some pieces of the puzzle that are missing here. That there's some information, there's some order of events, there's something that happened in between here. If you say like, hey, he just got suspended without pay is a big deal, by the way, because some people get suspended with pay, at least back in the day when I was with WWE. So I don't know if that's a new thing across the board where the bean counters are saying we can suspend them without pay and save some money. It's always about the money with them. So, but in this case, you fail one of your drug tests. Definitely there's something going on. But then to disappear and not be answering your phone for many weeks, paired up with that, and then being escorted from the building, I would think just in a vacuum with not answering your phone for weeks on end, that you wanted to be released, that you didn't want to work there anymore. So I'm not quite sure. This is something here, his second run in the company, correct? He came back after going to AEW. And also at the same time, he also has good standing with AEW. He went out of the company on his way out the right way, so they could welcome him back. So do you think Andrade wanted to go back to AEW? The other wrinkle in the story is, well, it's his ex-wife now. So who knows what in the world's going on there? I was going to say, I forgot they got divorced, but I was going to say his wife is there, but it's his ex-wife now. So very, very weird. But he was brought back into the company after they broke up. So that part I only want to talk about. I'm just throwing it out there as another fact in this whole confusing set of events.
I'm not sure. I thought he came back Royal Rumble 2024. I thought they were still married at that point, and then
I'm not exactly sure of the timeline. It could be a completely moot point. So I don't want to bring that kind of stuff up. But there's definitely something missing here, and maybe after whatever happens, is he under a 90-day no compete right now? So is he going to keep quiet about why he was released? I heard also he may not be able to go back to Mexico with the promotion there, that there was some heat down there.
Oh, was CMLL?
Correct. Yeah, that was the one.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. I always thought that he would be welcome.
This is all I'm passing about different things, and if he's in a situation kind of like Alberto Del Rio was, where you're kind of burning bridges here and there, but he didn't burn his bridge in AEW, so is he going to head back there to work in AEW? I know Ray Phoenix on the way out, that was a lot more, kind of adversarial. Good Lord, Philly accent.
Well, I know there was the issue with Sammy Guevara and Andrade where they got into a fight in AEW.
That's right.
This is like one big pile of times where everybody seems to be fighting everybody, and then Eddie Kingston was upset with Sammy Guevara, and then the CM Punk thing was happening, and just sort of the locker room seems to be falling apart a bit at that point. But I think you're right that Andrade lost his last match, and I'm right in saying it was Miro, Rusev at World's End, and it all revolved around Lana, CJ, Rusev's real life wife, CJ Perry, where for some reason she was managing Andrade. And everyone was like, this is the stupidest storyline in the world. And then all three of them disappeared pretty much at the same time.
So what's next for Andrade now? As far as you have to, obviously two times working in WWE, and now this time with the wellness policy kind of part to it, and then not answering and not making yourself available to them. I mean, his WWE career is essentially done. That's what I would guess, unless Saudi Arabia is a big Andrade fan. Then he's definitely coming back. But I can only see him really going to AEW, and what's that going to look like going back to AEW at this point?
I don't know. I mean, Tony Khan doesn't like using people that he knows are likely to leave. So would he even sign Andrade back? Because, if Andrade's not been picking up his phone for the last few weeks, that's a massive red flag that would make me think about rehiring somebody.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even like they were using them. They were going to put the tag belts on them. That would be enough right there. If there was any indication, and this is also a prime example, and hopefully it doesn't happen to Ray Phoenix, but because of what happened to Andrade, Ray Phoenix was on TV right away in a singles match, which is good. But usually the process after that is we got to punish both guys in the tag team. So we release Andrade, But then Ray Phoenix needs to be taken off TV for a few weeks or months. That's what happens. You pay for the sins of your tag team partner. That's why a lot of times, like it happened a lot with Scotty 2 Hotty and Brian Christopher. Brian Christopher would get heat or something would happen, and it would spill over to Scotty because of the team.
I know this is a really old reference, but do you remember the Killer Bees?
Yes.
Brian Blair left, and then Jim Brunzell stuck around for like 5 years after the fact. Would you believe? Because no one really remembers Jim Brunzell. He was just doing opening match work. But there you go. He was in, one of the more popular tag teams, and then all of a sudden he is right at the bottom of that card, man. And he would be. He'd never get anywhere from there.
Yeah, and I didn't even know. That's an interesting fact, because I assumed when Blair left that it was over, but he was there 5 years after that.
Yeah, I asked him, were you there when Nails strangled Vince McMahon? I said, yes, I was. So he was there. You think he was there till 93.
Oh, wow.
So there you go.
So let's go back to this, because I didn't want to sound, this stuff with the personal issues. We're just trying to piece together what could have led to them being at odds, meaning the company and Andrade. And then, obviously a wellness policy violation. Suspension without pay is pretty harsh. You know what I mean? And it should be justified if you're doing something like that while you're on TV in a way to maybe scare you straight. Like, we took your money away, so you're not going to do that again. But then the fact of keeping it real, when keeping it real goes wrong, like I'm not answering my phone for them. Then to me, you wanted to get released in a way, or you didn't want to have anything to do with this company. It's just me speculating. But all in all, I mean, he's very, very good. He's an excellent worker.
Yeah, but WWE just seems to see nothing in him when he returned. I mean, he immediately just went to the bottom of the card pretty much. I mean, he was in an opener.
You know why my guess is? That he never really, with the promos, even when he was trying to learn English or even speaking in Spanish or doing anything like that, it just felt very monotone with that. That's a piece of the puzzle in pro wrestling usually, and especially in WWE. And for some reason, the Japanese talent can do that, mixing between, the foreign language and the American language, and still be over. I don't know why Andrade never clicked. He clicked to a certain point. Like, his NXT run was really, really good. And I thought he was going to be right up there. But you know what they did? They also just kind of made him, wasn't he another version of Alberto Del Rio, kind of like the $1 Million Man, JBL kind of gimmick? So they didn't do him any favors by giving him a fresh, unique gimmick to begin with and a character. So he's just like, there was too much to, like, how can I put it? Maybe subconsciously the fans were already tired of seeing 3 different versions and iterations of the gimmick. So it's like, it's boring. It's stale. Even though he wasn't boring and stale, I'll tell you about, I think his best match that he ever had was, and it was overbooked because it was NXT, one of the takeovers. He and Johnny Gargano in that match for the NXT title, I believe. Man, what a good, but too many concussive things, like knees with his head against the post, but Johnny kept going. But it was an excellent match, man. They worked a very, very tough physical match in that, and I enjoyed it. It's a good cardio match.
I was just thinking, Penta.
CC.
He's an example.
CC.
He's an example of CC
I don't
indeed.
know. What's the Mexican aha?
It's basically Yaya. I don't know. Because, yeah, for like JA. I always see that. I was going to say Penta's like, someone who had very limited English, but really charismatic with his promos in English, weirdly. And then you mentioned Japanese, like some of them, Asuka, Kairi Sane. It can be done. It's not a language barrier thing. If you've got some language skills, it'll translate. Your charisma will translate.
But that's the whole thing too. I think you're right. Penta, for some reason, when he talks, his pacing, his inflection, and also he's very visual with the body language. Andrade would just come out and do like the $1 Million Man lapel pull and look left to right, back to left, and then to center, and that's what we got.
Do you know who nearly had that? And I've already forgotten his name. Is it Giovanni Vinci? the third man in the Gunther group.
Oh, good lord.
And they tried to do the same thing with him. They tried to make him, flash cars and nice suits and everything. They didn't even debut him on TV.
He was the Monaco $1 million man, right?
Yeah, basically. So
they debuted him on TV. He got beaten by Apollo Crews.
That's right.
Like 3 seconds in, he didn't even get he barely got his clothes off, remember?
Oh my God. Yeah, well, no, I didn't. That's the thing.
That was the only match he had that I remembered, was his debut, lost to Apollo Crews, that they weren't doing anything with. That's criminal, by the way. His gimmick with the foreign gimmick with the axe, that was good heat. And he had the big guy who was in Raw Underground. That was awesome. Then he did the Real Me promo and it was all over. This is the real me.
You know me.
You don't know me. You don't. We got to do a watch along of that.
I can't. I've seen it once since.
Come on, you basically, we just did the promo. It's just multiply that times 3 minutes.